Good evening, everyone. We have made it. We've gone through all of the drama of internet connections and everything. I think we're okay now. But the one thing I want to make sure, as usual, is that you can see me and you can hear me, please. Hang on, I'm just going to check your comments. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all here again. Missed you from not being able to do my Being Creative classes. So life has these twists and turns. But at the moment, it turned out that BT had a few problems. And Matthew and I have surrendered to Ethernet, which means we have white and yellow cables everywhere, which is worth it for being able to smoothly stream. Let's hope it all works. So, yes, you can. Donald, Isabel, see you. Good. Great, thanks, Yvonne. Welcome, everyone. So, tonight, I want to talk about a subject that's very close to my heart, and I think you know what that is, and it's called beauty. And it's really an important time right now for us to awaken the true quality of beauty, because it's, what can I say? It's close, touches your heart. It's a doorway. It's brings hope. It isn't like page 3, which seeks to reveal the superficial aspect of what we are, and we have to start coming away from that and realize that every one of us is beautiful inside our souls. So what I'd like to do is just have a short meditation alignment before we begin talking about such a special, important topic. I have some surprises for you tonight, and let's begin. So if you would all very kindly close your eyes. Be comfortable, erect, not slouched. Just close your eyes and be still. Take a breath in and hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Now imagine that you are sitting in an equilateral pyramid of pink light. Relax within the color, within the pyramid. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Take the pyramid and expand it to the size of your room, your house, then your village, your city, your country. Expand it to cover the earth. Allow the pink to touch all humanity and nature and yourself with the love of the pink color. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Slowly relax and take your pyramid smaller and smaller back to the room where you're sitting. Make the pyramid become tiny like a diamond and place it in your heart. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. Breathe in, hold it, and release. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back into the room. When I was little, I used to wander in the woods in Connecticut by myself. We were allowed to do that then. And it was like the leaves and the trees and the sound of the rippling water was just filled me with such wonder. And that's what beauty does. I remember there was a building site building more houses near us. And I'd wander down there amongst all the debris or the turned up soil in the stones and things like that. Connecticut had a lot of stones. And when it was raining, the little water would make little tiny streams between the stones, and I just loved that. And some of my walks, Connecticut most of them have like flint, a bit bigger, and they create walls between the fields and things. So I'd go out, and at one of our houses, we moved every year, one of our houses was just near the Mystic River, and I could go out on the stone wall. I think I might have been 11 or something like that. And the sun would be shining and the river would be in front of me, reflected all the beams of the sunlight, and I'd stand on the wall and I'd put my hands out and feel like I was flying. And that's what the basic of life is. And somehow, we've just gotten so distracted into all the superficial, what we think is what we need. And we're losing the paradisiacal heart that we have. Cheers. And there was a time in history when the shamans, we had a shaman, or the healers or the artists, they all reminded us, they sort of created a doorway reminding us of the divine and the sacred and how pure we are within. And I think as a little child, we knew this. We knew we could trust life. But right now, it's incredible, isn't it? Can you trust the air you're breathing? Can you trust the food you're eating? How about the water? And then there's the viruses. Never mind about the fear and we need, and we can shift that no matter what our experiences are, because life's experiences are beyond that. The essence of life is beyond that. And I certainly, as I met Cecil Collins many years ago now, and I did his life drawing classes, it was more like a Discover Ginger, who she is classes. I'm so grateful, and I have put up his basic principles. There are 5 lessons. The first one is free, to see if that's something you want to do, because it's not lessons that you learn how to paint a landscape or a still life. It's about you. And there's some basic, fundamental, pardon my language, things you need to know. And then we can have live Zooms. And we can go on into deeper realms of that. So what I've organized today are some of the drawings that I experienced in those classes. I have several drawers of these drawings. I've picked out a few, and it was an amazing thing. When I first went into the classes, it was almost like I was fresh off the boat with the big American smile and hi, how you doing, and all that. And he ducks and he says, Ginger, I'm going to put a real smile on that face. And boy, did he put me through those paces. And it was so funny because I was so really good at making tiny drawings. And I don't know if I've told you this before, but one hand would have a brush, say, a brush. And another hand would have, here we are, a pencil. And we had to first move with the model, and he'd have music on in different rhythms, and he'd tell us do a very light mark with that and use a different tone. You had little jars, of which I show in the classes, of water tones that you have to make from pale to very dark. And the whole idea of that is to integrate your relationship between the visible and the invisible. And by doing this, you're discovering more and more of how to create a marriage between your invisible and invisible. And I've spoken a lot before about the masculine principle is the energy that makes the invisible visible, but it's the feminine that's principle that is the bridge. So in every one of us, when we're creating, you're working with those. It's a challenge, particularly with an artist, to find the marriage. That's what creativity is, and that's what beauty helps you to bring in the higher aspects of what the invisible is, what life is. So I want to show you this once I transition it over. Here we come. She says, I almost lost you for a minute. Come on, people. What? Something's gone strange. I did something wrong. I'm so sorry. Something's... Oh, I know what I did. Okay, we got there. Hang on. Here we are. Some of my little drawings. He put us all in different postures. I've got a mic on here. I hope you can hear it. So this is one of the blobs, because one day he put me through so much. He wanted to break my tendency of always needing a little perfect picture like that one. I have a lot of lovely ones like that, but you have no idea when you see them what I was going through in order to get to what art I'm doing now. It's a whole process of self-discovery and letting go and feeling. There's one of my blobs. That was the day. Oh my God, he had us in such a spin, and that was the worst blob. Yeah. But all the other classes after that, I was a much more open and spirited, free-spirited person. Oh. And here we are. He actually told me on one Easter to go home and do a painting, that what I thought Easter was about. And then when I came in with it, I've got it somewhere, I think, in the attic, but it's very different to now, because it's still came from my conceptual mind as opposed to the feeling, the artist's mind. And then he says to me, okay, Ginger, you're meant to do bigger. And I went, wow. And then all of this energy started to come out at the contemplation of bigger, because art has to, true art reflects the sanctity of life, the divine, the eternal principle. Even if you're doing water, ocean, flowers, or if you can bring in this essence of the wonder and the eternal beauty and the rhythm of life, that's uplifting. That's taking people to a special place. And that's what art's pure purpose, I find, is. And that's what I serve, and even down in the art of living. So I'm going to look at your messages now. Hang on a second. At least the internet's better. At least it is on my side. Hi, Verpy. Yep, we are on the way. Hi, Julianne. Yep, it's fixed now. The connection, woohoo! You can't stop me now. Thank you, Verpy. She says, I bring lots of beauty into this world with my art and warm heart. And I feel very strongly that your warm heart and mine is a good friendship. Jenna, I was drinking elderflower cordial with water. Hi, Erica. Verpy's only drinking water. Yep, surprise. Thank you, Donald. Hi, Carmen. Erica, she says that she finds that when she paints, it's easier to find the marriage between the masculine and feminine principle. And when I'm trying to make music, it's nowhere to be found. Frustrating. I wonder why. Let me contemplate that. You know, there are 5 senses that people work through, and like Matthew, I'm sure he works through his ears, the hearing, and he might actually work through the hands, which healers work that way too. But there's, let me think, so there's the sight. Artists work with sight, and there's a difference between being able to be in the vision and see in the vision, as opposed to with the eyesight, with the vision. So if you incorporate the with sight and the insight, that's when you start finding this harmony and balance. So I wonder, Erica, I wonder what you could do to incorporate more of a consciousness with hearing, and maybe with expression as well. Do you sing? It's there's this flowering that happens when you're creating, no matter what you are. And a lot of people don't know about masculine and feminine principles. And it's just a tuning in. If you can touch that space, that very, very archetypal, calm, like a flower, like the silence, like the wonder in the sunlight and the stars and the raindrops. Find that when you're playing music. I can feel that there's a feeling that comes with listening to music and creating music. Let me know how you get on. So, Good evening, Garnet. That's great, Donald. I didn't know you drew. Fantastic. Can I see some of them? Hi, Becky. Nice to have you here. Hang on. Yes, they are very beautiful. I believe that when we start on the road to be creative through our art, that it's normal to start small scale, and we break through the barrier when confidence is gained and go from strength to strength. Well, it's a very long journey. It seems like there's different cycles, different stages of all this. But you know, the art for the future really needs to come into emphasizing the beauty of nature and the sacredness of life and the care. It's the only way we're going to get out of this spin. And it's only a spin because consciousness is advancing. And there is a revolution in the air, and it's all to do with letting go of fear and anger, or victory and defeat, or courage and cowardness, or possession of things or not having possessions. We have to get away from that because there's a wealth inside. I'm sure that's one of the reasons that we've been put inside, to discover again. Because life is just amazing. I mean, you get your storms, that's for sure. You got to have your Macs and your wellies and things, but I was very graced to meet Dr. Werner Engel, who was one of Jung's and Gerhard Adler's very close friends. And he inspired me greatly because he said that when the storms come, it's not always a breaking down. It's a breaking through. And Cecil, my art teacher of many creative art teachers or creative life teachers, said to me, we don't create, first understand and then create. We create in order to understand. And it took me a long time to finally see that switch in the brain, and to get your identification switched from the material plane and, well, maybe we might have something going on out there. And my reality has become the invisible aspect is first my reality, and that's where all understanding and knowledge and feelings and greatness lies. It takes a while, little steps, sometimes big bangs. You didn't get it this time, Ginger. Okay. Oh. Dear Lord. I'm going to check, see what you're saying. Erica says she sings, plays piano and guitar, and it's easier for me to learn other people's songs, and I have so much music and lyrics in my head, but I can't get them out the way I want. It feels like they are just stuck in my head. Let me ponder that. Can you describe this stuck in the head thing again? I mean, do you write them down? What are you having trouble Do you have a feeling and then articulating it is difficult? What just came to me is that maybe you should try to draw them as you're saying it. I don't know, like get a color that you think is appropriate, and as you're feeling or thinking or playing seeing the note or hearing the note, and as the words come, write them down. It might not be the finished lyric, but keep going. Mix your two creative outlets and see what happens. Verpes asked, what do I think about digital drawing? I think some people create very beautiful art that way too. Maybe be a better way to draw for some people. I'm thinking about trying it too with a digital pen or tablet or iPad. Of course, it isn't the same as, I'm doing Seymour Verby, as a real drawing and painting, but you'd still draw and paint yourself. Well, I've pondered this for some time, and years ago when I was first entering into using a computer, my lovely healer grandmother Lily Cornford said that I should imagine, it's color healing we were doing, imagine spring green on your hands and going through, and then take it throughout your whole body. You're like wearing a spacesuit of green, and put amethyst around. So there was a long time that I was having to be careful, because you go online and you have millions of people's energies of all kinds out there. And I, in a way, wasn't strong enough to be dealing with that, because I was actually creating a website and outreach and things. But if you're on your iPad, what I would say, because technology is part of our world now, and I've been focusing on talking and using it, the energy. If we don't put the energy of this, of higher consciousness, onto the internet, all you get is the spin. So as you know, I, for a long time on my Ginger Gilmour Facebook page, I've been asking people to just post something of beauty, of wisdom, maybe something worldly that we do need to be aware of. But if we all do that, it creates a collective that uplifts humanity. It's like art. Most really great civilizations had a metaphysical importance. If you look at some of those buildings like Chartres or the pyramids, all the big buildings that were made based on lifting our consciousness and recognizing, no doubt, that there's something very special that we need to safeguard and be. And look at our buildings now. IBM, Ford, UBS, banks, just, they're big, they're out there. So what are they doing for us? And how are we using them? So, coming back to your question, Burpee, I would say hello to your iPad, because it's a real thing. It's energy. And put your heart to it and tell it you're working together to create a beautiful picture. And I think it'll be really special. And of course, as you said, it's important to be in the creative process, particularly if you're awakening to how important it is and what its purpose is in serving you and the world. You're creating you. So you're transforming you through the creative process. So I would imagine that it would be fine. It's down to your intention. It's always the intention, just like Chartres was created with a particular intention. Even if you do little tiny clay forms, like I don't know if I showed you last week, this being, which is one of the things that you create in the Being of Heart Zoom classes that I'm offering. That's the universe, you know. And it's you inside it when you're doing yours. So it's the intention that we're trying to live. Like, you know, it's interesting. Whenever you create artwork, particularly in this period, well, maybe it was about 10 years ago, it's a bit of a challenge for people to look at it. Cecil said that some people would raise a sword, not a sword, goodness, wrong era, their cane at some of his pictures. And he said it's like a challenge, because what true beauty in a painting or a building or a wonderful environment, you know what it does? It asks you a question. You have to ask yourself. And you have to ask yourself, who am I? What am I doing? It calls to us. It reveals your potential. So this man, Cecil said, this man that raised his cane, and I've had my experience of this several times, and Cecil helped me to understand why that's happening. He said when you're asked that question, all your walls and veils that you might have been running away from will be shown to you. So be prepared. I mean, it first happens as a catharsis for you, and it's certainly worth doing. It's certainly worth doing. So Donald says it's been a long time since he did any Zoom drawing, and then it stopped and went to airbrushing. I love airbrushing. Then into painting houses, industrial, commercial, residential. Well, every time you do that, you're putting love on the walls. Garnet, psyche, I'm missing part of your message. Becky, I'm getting back an old hobby that I had to put away due to having children, making clothes. I don't particularly like stuff in shops, so time to create again. Amazing. It's make them so they reveal the beauty that you are as you're walking in them. And I'm sure you put a lot of love into those clothes. So Donald said, over 35 years, and I painted the space shuttle in 1984 and 85. Wow, Matthew was born in 85. That's incredible. Worked several times in different projects in Disney and Florida, and worked in 1993 of the Statue of Liberty. Did you really? Wow. That's an amazing Statue of Liberty. It's one of the first things a boat will see when they come into New York. if that's the Statue of Liberty you're talking about. It's quite a symbol, that one. Erica says, Isabel, I'll go back to you in a minute, Erica. Isabel says that her son does all his drawings that way. Well, that's what Rudolf Steiner classes are about as well. It's like you need to tune into that place and allow the form, the drawing, whatever you're creating to come into you. I never, as I've said before, I never really know what's going to happen. In my Monday and Friday being creative classes starts from that place of opening. There's no way that you can necessarily describe it. You observe it, you go along with it. And in fact, if you try to describe it, sometimes it cuts the doorway. Erica says it's more a feeling or an urge. Hang on, everyone's messages are coming in fast and furious. Erica says it's more of a feeling or an urge, more so with physically playing music. I feel that urge in my brain is hearing melodies, but once I sit down, there's nothing. I have lyrical phrases that I write down, but that's the end of it. I try to elaborate on them or try to put them with random chords, but nothing clicks the way I want it to. Something just came to me. What do you do? How do you feel about moving? Some people are resistant to moving. And I just saw, do you stand up when you're playing, or are you sitting down? What's the sometimes you have to have a better relationship with your body, even if you're not moving. There's a oneness that will come when the flowering comes. Erica, I'm sorry, I just am seeing these things, so I don't know if it means anything to you, but let's see. Erica likes the idea of drawing what I hear. I'm going to try it. Let me know. Show me. So, Verpi, I have friends who draw that way too, and it looks beautiful. Every person has the way to do something, because as I said, it's the place inside of who you are that counts. And nature is there supporting us at all times. Ginger Gilmour's private group, lol, very interesting. What does that mean, Donald? Private group. That could be a long conversation series about Becky Brain Bowl. Furby, you are so funny sometimes. Let's see. Erica, when I paint, I feel the same urge, and it just comes to me so naturally. I don't know why. It feels like there's some sort of mental block deep down in my soul for my music. Maybe you're meant to be a painter. I mean, maybe you're forcing something on you. You will have a melody. Everything has a song. When I'm painting, there's a song. Maybe that's your way of manifesting. I mean, I'm just in awe of musicians and singers and things. But I know I tried it once upon a time. I even played violin when I was a kid. But I've discovered that my flow is through painting and making sculptures and really nice dinners and lovely environments. Love gardening. But I'm learning, when I first came over, I there's an American, what can I say, belief system of who I should be as a person. And it was down to how much can I create in a day meant I was succeeding, i.e. 4 kids, huge dinner party, wrapping the Christmas presents, doing the cooking, big dinner, washing the clothes, weeding the garden, as much as I could do in one day. That made me feel that's what I succeeded in living. But of course, I'd crash. I'd be exhausted. Now it's like focus on doing each thing, mastering something. First, it's mastering the beauty of life, and then going deeper. I can still do several things in a day, but the energy of the paintings and things and the sculptures and just my physical presence is the big piece of art that is important to me. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but Verby said, yes, well, there is a digital pen that you use to draw on the tablet or iPad. Yeah, I know. You actually really draw or color. I've seen them as you do on paper. I know Alice, our eldest daughter, does that. And it's easier to go back and correct your mistakes, so I think it would be better for me as Gilmour as I do is mistakes. Mistakes is interesting because I used to worry about mistakes. Now with oil paints, it isn't a problem, and also the way I create requires me not to worry about that, mistakes. But I know the feeling. Verby used to draw with watercolors when she was young. Right now it's like we have to figure out what action do we have to do in order to radiate, because we all have an amazing soul inside, and it's like what our actions are. It's almost like saying you have a line of service to your life, to humanity, and it's down to the beauty and revealing the radiance of what you are. So I even did it when I was washing the nappies. Can I make this a beautiful exercise? I've told you this story before. Maybe I have to think of some more how to beautify. It's just beautify. And one of my art teachers said that God gives us a lot of gifts, and our gift is to create beauty in ourselves and in our actions. So I just beautify. It used to be shopping before enlightenment and shopping after enlightenment, but now it's beautify. It makes me happy, I have to say. And you know, it's 8 minutes to, and there's something I want to read to you and take you on. Roberto, hi, ciao. He used to take photos. How wonderful. Hi, Richard. I would suggest you listen to the replay, because I think, and right now there's something I want to show you. Hi, Anne. Isabel says to be creative. I find that it's important to be in my body first, so I exercise before sitting down to write. Good, because it gets the endorphins. It opens up you to the nature of the wonder of life. Really good idea. Hi Anne, sorry you're late. No worries. Roberto says that we've met in Cento, Italy 3 years ago and you signed my book. Thanks again. Hi, well, thank you. I love Cento. That night was really special, really special. So, hang on for 1 second. I want to put up another slideshow and read you this incredible poem by a man called Edward Matchett. And it's been something that has inspired me for years. And I want to read it to you. Okay? So let me make the upload. Here we go. Let us make a thing of beauty that long may live when we are gone. Let us make a thing of beauty where hungry souls may feast upon. Whether it be wood or marble, music, art, or poetry. Let us make a thing of beauty to help set man's bound spirit free. So, I'll put up the link for art classes if anyone's interested. And we've got the Being of Heart, which is a Zoom class that needs 2 to 3 hours for you to be together with me and have a block of clay, and we'll take you into creating your heart from your heart. So I'm just going to check your messages again. Roberto says he took a portrait of me and Durga together. I think I've seen it. Have I seen? Is it possible that somebody might have posted it? Did you send it to us? Anyway, lovely people, thank you for coming. It is now time to go. It's been amazing. It went very quick. So ponder what it is that you reflect and express and reveal the joy of your soul. And may beauty be with you. For in beauty we are all united across the world. So have a and before I want to just see Julianne's. She says she tends to overthink things, sometimes to the point of mild anxiety. When I'm doing my artwork or writing, the positive and beauty that seems to lay dormant most of the time bubbles up and out. No overthinking. I like it flow freely. I am so grateful and blessed to have been raised by 2 amazing artists' parents. I've never been, nor will I ever be bored. Thank you so much for your words of beauty, wisdom, and inspiration. Thank you, Julianne, for sharing your thoughts. And on that note, just a minute. Okay, Roberto, if you ever do, send it to me. Verbi, thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you on Matt's lives and on mine. And we'll see each other again and again, all of you wonderful people. Be well and be beautiful, because you are. Thank you. And this time, goodbye.